like that lighting. I'm going to shut that.
Uh-oh. Well, we're recording. Don't mind us. We're still fixing our tech gremlins. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Blabbing Social with Melody. Of course, I'm Melody, and today, yeah, today we're going to talk Pinterest for business. And Pinterest, I can tell you, can be extremely powerful. There are actually statistics out there that show people buy more often a product online or because of a product that they saw on Pinterest than any other platform. So it's a really powerful way to get the attention of your fans and followers if you have something that really fits the vibe of Pinterest. So that's what we're going to talk today about. And my guest is the ever fabulous Beth Johnston of Social Bridges. Hi, Beth. Tell us who you are and what you do and something else, something fun about you.
Well, you can come up with said it all.
I kind of did, yeah.
Beth Johnston, founder of Social Bridges. We bridge the gap between your brand and your audience using social media. That is my tagline. I am also an instructor at Colorado Free University and have put this course together because of demand from local businesses, small businesses wanting to understand how to market themselves using Pinterest. So many businesses think, well, I'm not a visual product. I don't have anything to sell. And you know what? That's not the case. Pretty much anyone these days can use Pinterest as a great marketing tool. And so, really, because of its uniqueness, it's not like all the other social platforms. If you're like me, in the morning when you're getting ready for the day and taking care of, the three things that the three S's as we call it.
Yes. All of us get to do that.
I won't go there, but
when you go there, we get it. I get it.
You're usually going through your news feed 1,000 miles an hour, whether it be your Facebook news feed or your Twitter news feed,
right?
And looking for what's happening that day. What's unique about Pinterest is while you're spinning through the news feed on Facebook and Twitter, and that content pretty much goes away when you're done speeding through your news feed.
It is hard to go find it again.
Right.
I have noticed.
It's really difficult to find it again.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I so agree with you.
Yeah, it is. And especially if Facebook doesn't want you to find it again, it's not going to appear in your newsfeed anymore, right?
Yeah.
So with Pinterest, what's cool is your content stays around forever. It's very easy for people to find you. Once they've pinned one of your posts, they can easily go back and find you again. And honestly, things that I've pinned years ago are coming back and people are reusing and repinning again. So
amazing.
To me, for a company or for a business, content on Pinterest is what we call evergreen. It sticks around. It stays around forever. It stays fresh forever.
Yes,
as long as it's pertinent.
Freshly evergreen, yes. Evergreen fresh, I should say it that way. Evergreen fresh, we like that.
It even smells like evergreen.
It's like us here in Colorado in the mountains. We're very evergreen.
we are snobs here in Colorado.
I love that you're pointing that out. I knew that, but I never thought about it. I never thought about how, because I do notice that people will repin stuff from way back, and I'll look at it and think, I'll even think, when did I pin that? And I don't remember that. And it will just be an older piece of content that still resonated with that person. And so therefore it really was an evergreen piece of content. So that's an excellent point for businesses to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And another thing you mentioned, I just want to throw this out. I think almost, if not every business can be on Pinterest. I know somebody personally who has gained a large following by putting up a graphic that has a title people are used to seeing. So for her, it's publicity tips or something like that. Right. Publicity tips for business or something like that. And she literally just loads up a visual tip. It's on a graphic. I don't know if she uses Canva or what. She just uploads to this particular folder tips on publicity. And that's it. It's not even a product that she's putting up. And she gets more hits on that stuff. So you can make it work.
Exactly. And most of the hits that I get are just blog posts, which is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. People
want information.
Yeah.
And as long as the graphic is visually pleasing, they can come back and reference the blog eons later. It's not like Facebook or Twitter for that matter, where you like something or you save the link, you're physically saving it to your board. And if you ever have an inkling to come back and learn more about what you fathomed when you were creating this board, you have all of these pins there, and it's like, oh, I remember this, and you might go back and reread it again.
Yes, so excellent. Well, and tell us, okay, so do we start at the start? Start at the beginning? Tell us.
Well, kind of just an overview for, I'm sure everyone's familiar with Pinterest, but Pinterest is a very visual platform. So you must have an image or a graphic or now a video in order to pin something to Pinterest. So if it's not graphically or visually appealing, I would stay away from using it on Pinterest, but pretty much anything that has a graphic is allowed to be pinned. You can't pin just text. You have to have a graphic or a video associated with it. And it's kind of, it's the bulletin board concept. So again, if you're not familiar with Pinterest, think of, your cork board in your kitchen. Maybe you've got, in your kitchen, you've got 3 bulletin boards. One is for your kids, one is for you, and one is for your spouse or your or the dog, whatever.
Makes sense.
And on each of those boards, you have what's pertinent to each of those groups of people or person. The kids, you've got what's the school lunches are that week. And for me, I've got what's coming up, my grocery list or my menu that I'm going to be cooking for the week. Sure. And then who knows what my husband has on his board. It's probably pictures of watches and cars and crap, golf clubs.
Interest, yeah.
Right. And what makes it social is people share stuff. And that's really the whole basis of Pinterest is sharing what other people have liked and pinned on their boards. And that's what makes it a social platform.
Yes.
Other than that, there's really not a reason that it is a social platform other than that you are sharing other people's content, commenting on it and liking it. And that's what makes it social. But what I find, a lot of people don't do comments anymore. Years ago, I found people used to comment a lot on Pinterest boards, ooh, cool board, cool picture. Ooh, I'm going to buy this right now.
I'm going to go there today.
It's not the case anymore. People aren't commenting that much, but the way they're showing the love is by repinning and sharing it onto their own board. That's how I see them showing the love.
Well, and I think it's an interesting distinction with the social part of that.
Yeah.
Because I do know social media people like you and I that work in the social media arena who won't even call that part of social media. They call it bookmarking.
Right.
Which I guess it is if you think about
curating.
That. Curating. It's not really social. But I don't know. I keep it in the social media arena myself. I still think it's a social media platform. You do be social on it. Is it still 80% of all pins are repins? Is that still an accurate stat? You're probably going to tell me that later.
Well, not actually that's a pretty good stat. I didn't think about that, but yes, I think we're still at 80% are people just sharing stuff. So we'll differentiate between shares and evergreen content, repin content and evergreen content. So evergreen is stuff that's unique to you, perhaps your blog post or your content or the pictures that you've actually taken yourself. That's evergreen content. And then the repins and shares are, repins and shares.
Sure. Okay. And repins are just like retweets. You're sharing somebody else's content. And,
that's exactly right. And so just to differentiate once again, between some social platforms, Facebook is kind of considered, this is who I am. This is what I'm eating this morning. This is my kid who just got the honor roll today.
That's right.
This is the sunset I'm looking at tonight. Facebook is considered, this is who I am, right?
Okay. Yes.
Twitter is, this is what I'm doing. I'm so cool. And here's, a selfie of me with my peeps having a cocktail.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. And honestly, if you don't catch me in the next 10 seconds, you're going to miss me because I'm going to fall out of your newsfeed. Right.
Yeah.
But Pinterest is considered like, this is who I want to be. I'm curating photos and pictures of the house that I want to build, of the baby shower that I want to throw, or the dress that I want to wear to my wedding.
Right.
So Pinterest is considered who I want to be. That's kind of how you think of Pinterest.
I like who I want to be.
Who I want to be. Yeah.
I thought of it that way, but I guess even brides could fall into that because I know many a wedding is planned on there.
Many a wedding.
And that is who you want to be, right? You want to be the bride that day. So I guess that really
absolutely
gets right into it.
And actually, I believe don't quote me on this, but I think wedding planning is where Pinterest actually started, because a bride or brides wanted to collaborate with the bridesmaids and the planner and stuff like that on stuff for the wedding. And I think most of the Pinterest boards out there are for brides. But I'm thinking that's where Pinterest started to begin with.
That is interesting. I actually never have seen that, but that makes total sense.
And long goes the reputation that Pinterest is only for women.
That's right.
Getting a boyfriend who is on that Pinterest, and the stigma that Pinterest is only for women is going away very quickly, because there's many, many more men joining at a rapid rate. Oh, yeah. The stat used to be 90% women, 10% men. I think it's now about 60% women and 40% men. There's lots of cool, suits and ties and watches and motorcycles, and the boards out there are insane. I have a friend, I won't mention his name, Scott Timmermans.
He's not on with us this morning. I see his name a lot.
I know, Scotty. He's going to see this later and get mad at me. I think he's got about 7,500 pins on his board, just on either watches or motorcycles, one of the two. And that's why I always use him as an example, because he's the guy's guy, and he's a Pinterest whore.
Pinterest whore. Sorry,
Pinterest whore.
That word on here. But, oops. But we like it. And you can put in it, because you can pin any. I've seen, what am I trying to say? I know I'm stuttering, but I've seen every kind of pin on there.
Oh.
You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
We won't go there.
Right. So what I'm saying is, you can put any interest area you have on there. If it's beer, maybe you're a beer aficionado and you love, small breweries, you can pin lots of beer. I mean, gosh, any interest you can pin on there. And there is somebody that will follow that board and be interested in the things that you're curating.
There is. I've seen one of my friends, he loves craft beer labels. And he goes around and pins all the different cool craft beer labels that he's seen. And they're so unique. They're so cool, because they can pretty much do anything,
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some labels. Here in Colorado, microbreweries are a big deal.
Very cool.
Lots of microbrews out there, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
One of my clients just launched, they just are starting to put their beer in canning, I guess is the name. And so she had a local artist design all of their labels, or their can designs.
Right.
And they are so cool and so unique. And if you look at it, you're like, I get it, because they can put cool things on there that, commercial breweries can't.
What are great things she can pin? She can use Pinterest very easily.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten there yet. We're active on Instagram, which is another visual platform, but we'll probably quickly be moving to Pinterest.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
I wanted to also mention that on average, as a business owner, you need to know that people on Pinterest spend way more money than they do on all of the other social platforms combined. I'll give you an example. An average order value from Twitter is like $69. Average order value on Facebook's $80.
Wow. Okay.
And then on Pinterest, the average order value is $179. So it's like Pinterest and Twitter combined, and then explode that.
Amazing. I knew the stats were big.
They're huge. So when I talk, Melody, I'm getting an echo from my voice back. Is that from your speaker?
Oh.
Can anyone else hear that?
I hear an echo on your end.
Oh, I think when we do this without the headset, it does create the echo, but it's all right. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Sorry. I don't hear your echo over here, though, but I do hear me echoing over there. Sorry. Yeah, we probably need to think that through. Maybe that's another reason to put on the headsets.
I think so, too.
Yeah, okay.
I hate hearing my own voice.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go into mine. You know I do.
I hate looking at myself on video. I hate hearing my own voice on video.
I can hear me a little, so it's recording slightly, but it's not too bad. I don't think it's distracting to the viewer. So we'll leave it this time and know that next time I guess we've got to go with earphones for that reason. Yeah. So, okay.
You can mess up the hair.
Dang it. Well, what's next? What else do we need to know?
I want to talk about most people have a Pinterest account just for their personal use. And it's very simple. If you're curating things on your Pinterest account that have to do with your business, it's very simple to convert your personal account to a business account. It's very easy.
Okay. Okay.
Or not. You can always create a business account. And unlike Facebook, you do not have to have a personal account to create a business account.
Okay.
And if you are a business, you absolutely need to have a business account and set it up like a business for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
The first reason is the same reason that you need a business account on Twitter and Facebook is it provides you analytics.
Yes.
And you can go behind the scenes and you can see what type of people are coming to your boards, what type of people are liking your boards, what type of people are repinning your boards, what type of people are commenting on your boards. You can see what their interests are, what hashtags they follow on Pinterest. So to me, that's probably the most important reason to have a business page on Pinterest. The other important reason, obviously, is because you can advertise.
Yes.
Same with Twitter and Facebook. You must have a business page set up in order to advertise. I personally haven't done any advertising on Pinterest. I've done it for other people, but not for my own business.
Yes.
And it's very robust. There's some really cool technical things that you can do that I have no idea. I'd have to hire my web guy to do it for me. But
I was just wondering how targeted you could be on there.
You can target really well. It's creating the pin that you're targeting to people. That's the technical side of it. So there's something called rich pins that actually require a little bit of coding behind the scenes in order to use them in advertising. But you can't advertise unless you've got a business account. So that's number two reason to have. I forgot about those.
I know.
That's number two.
Clapping. Forgot about feels. All right.
Yeah. Let's see. What else am I thinking?
We have a little outline here we can refer back to.
Talking about converting, absolutely the reason to have a business account. There are a couple of things that you need to be sure when you're setting up your business account, some profile settings that you maybe want to take care of while you're setting up your business page. It's important that Pinterest wants you to verify your website in order to become a business page.
Yes.
You actually aren't official on Pinterest until you've verified your website.
Right.
And in the profile and during the setup, it will ask you to verify your website.
Yes.
It's like slightly technical, but not really technical. It's a piece of code that you need to install on your website that Pinterest will eventually get around to checking to make sure that you're an actual business, that you're in operation. So it is important to verify your website. Otherwise, Pinterest will not recognize you as a business page.
As a business page.
Get on there in your profile and make sure your website is verified. And sometimes they take their sweet time verifying your page. It could take 45 minutes. It could take 45 days. So you're kind of at the mercy of Pinterest. It depends on their backlog. I personally think they just got some minions in the back of their computer running these verifications. And, for grins, they'll go, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn it off. No, we're not going to verify your websites for a while. Oh, okay, we'll turn it back on.
I'm bored with this. Bye.
Yeah. Shiny object.
Swirl.
Well,
I actually had to get help with that piece some years ago because I could maybe it's because they were slow. I don't know what the problem was, but I actually had to have somebody to go in behind the scenes on my website and make sure that the code was in the right spot. Because I thought the problem was I wasn't putting it where it should be on the website. And I'm not technical that way, really.
Mm-mm.
So I finally just asked somebody that I knew to help me with that, and then it got verified. So I don't know what the holdup was there, but so maybe, if you have a web person and you're a business, you might consider having them put it on your website and save yourself the hassle.
Seconds.
Yeah.
And with me, it'll take me 2 hours because I'm like, okay, I have to go in between the head and no, just have your web guy do it. He knows, or she knows where it goes. Just 30 seconds, they'll charge you $4.
Yeah, it was much easier. I got done. I'm like, okay, let's just, I'm not a tech person. So that's, but you have to do it. I agree. It makes you real.
Right. Exactly.
Basically. Okay.
One of the things that I want to note in a business's profile settings is you can connect to your other social networks with Pinterest.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily recommend that you connect with Facebook because when you do, it will only connect to your personal Facebook page. It won't connect to your business page. So you can do it the flip way. You can connect Facebook to Pinterest through the use of Facebook tabs. but you cannot connect Pinterest to Facebook, where if you pin something, it goes to your Facebook account.
Right.
But only it'll go to your personal account. It cannot connect to your business account as of today.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, I know there's a way to have a tab, but that's the thing. You have to actually put a tab in place.
You do. And you do it on the Facebook side. You don't do it on the Pinterest side.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool, because when you go into Facebook, there's a little tab on the side and you can click on it and it'll bring up all your pins from Pinterest. And people, the Facebook whores that don't want to leave Facebook, don't have to see your.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Good tip.
Yeah. I think pretty much everyone's, if you're on here, you're familiar with creating pins and how to use them, but, and repinning and showing the love. Using hashtags, I think, is really important. Until recently, hashtags weren't important on Pinterest, but now, well, it's been about a year that they have actually started using them on a regular basis. And I wouldn't over hashtag your pins, the description, but it does make them searchable. And they weren't searchable in about a year ago. They put the hashtag thing on there. So,
you know, and years ago they said to use it, so I would start putting them in, and then I read that it wasn't useful to do that for a while, so I got confused. But it sounds like it's back, and that you should use hashtags. It
is, and
don't overdo it, just like any platform.
Well, right now Google isn't searching Pinterest for hashtags, but when they do, you want to make sure that those hashtags are on your pins, because sometime in the future, if Google opens up the hashtag search to Pinterest, you're going to want to make sure your hashtags are there.
If you do it, and so do the work ahead of time. It's not that hard. Right. Do it ahead of time, and then everything is searchable from the get-go.
Right.
Once Google opens that up,
then you don't have to go back and all the 7,000 pins add hashtags to them, because that's kind of a pain. So just get them in there up front. Don't abuse them, because people can't stand that, especially on Pinterest, because that's really not why they're there.
Right.
But definitely use them, because they'll become a benefit in the future. But inherent to Pinterest, you can search the hashtags.
Okay, that's an excellent tip. And I didn't know the part about Google either. So thanks for that. That's a good piece of
information. They might have changed it. Who knows? Google might have changed overnight.
They can do whatever they want anytime. They're like Google, the Google.
The Google. The devil.
They are. Well,
I didn't say that. Sorry, Google, don't shut me down. I didn't say you're the devil.
You've been recorded. I'm recording right now.
I know, right?
Great.
So,
next, yeah. What else?
I'm going to move on to advertising.
Yes, I know. I need to know a little more on that.
Okay. So the two that I want to focus on today, there's about 4 different kinds of advertising pins that you can use, but the ones that are most used are called promoted pins and rich pins.
Okay.
And when you log on to Pinterest, if you have a business account, a big banner is going to come up and say, don't you want to promote this pin? It has been repinned 45 times. It's getting some activity. Right. Why don't you spend some money with us? Those are promoted pins, and people use, you buy the pin and you use it to either raise awareness about your brand, to increase engagement with your boards or that specific pin, or to increase website traffic, which is what I recommend you use promoted pins to do, is to send people to your website. Right. Again, if you don't have something to send people to on your website, the point is a little mute, but even if it's a blog, that's a great way to send traffic to your website. Put a cool graphic out there, put a cool topic on your pin, and give a little blurb that, click here to find the 10 best reasons to have a Pinterest business page, and direct traffic to your website. I think that's one of the best ways to use promoted pins. Perfect. You might have heard of something called buyable pins. Yeah. Really, all that is, it's promoted pins for your mobile device.
Oh.
That's all it is. So buyable pin is the same thing as a promoted pin. It's just for mobile.
They just call it something different. So on the promoted pin, does that mean it doesn't show well on mobile? Is it not optimized for mobile, and that's the difference?
So
I'm just wondering.
So when you set it up, the promoted pin, there's an option just like there is on Facebook to make it available on mobile, and it'll show you what it will look like on the mobile device. And you can select whether you want it on the mobile, which you do always.
Just do it anyway. Just do it.
Yeah, don't ever diss the mobile, because what is the stat? It's like,
Oh,
so one of the things on analytics is you can see how many people are accessing your Pinterest account on a mobile device, and then it will tell you which mobile device they're accessing it from.
no kidding.
And so for me, 90% of my audience was accessing my Pinterest board from a mobile device. So I have gone back and made sure that all of the images that I use are optimized for mobile devices.
90, you say?
For me, for my board. So I will go into your analytics when we're done here and check.
Wow.
You can access, you know what, I'm just going to even tell you how to get there.
Oh yeah, tell us how to get there. Because that's
so from your business page.
Okay.
Are you on right now?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not on Pinterest, but but it's gonna be on here, so I'm gonna come back to it.
So easy. So from your business page, the top of the screen, you've got your search bar. Right to the left of your search bar, you have a button called Analytics. Woo!
Yeah, that's easy. Okay.
You click on your analytics, and the three things that it will give you analytics on are your Pinterest profile. So the overall daily impressions that you're getting out there. Also how many daily users or visitors are coming to see either your boards or your pins themselves.
Okay.
Talk about your audience. And this is where it'll show you how many, right on the dashboard, it'll show you how many monthly viewers you have, as well as how many people are engaging on a monthly basis with your pins.
Yes.
And if you click on your audience tab, it's going to show you really 6 statistics about your audience, where they are, what language they speak, if they're male, they're female, and then it will go in and talk about how they access your boards. What on a regular basis are they coming to you from a desktop? What applications they're coming to you from? They might be coming to you from other apps, whether it be Facebook or whatever. It's going to show you how they got to your pin. Right. And then, of course, if they're accessing via Android, iPad, iPhone, mobile on the website, or just a website in general. And I will tell you that, it's gone down. 70% of the people that have accessed my Pinterest page in the last 30 days were on a mobile device. Okay. 70%.
And do you consistently see it's more female than male? Probably. But I'm just curious.
And there's an unspecified category under gender as well.
Well,
so for me, it's twice as many.
Yes, interesting. That's an interesting statistic. And if you find that maybe more men are coming to your Pinterest board, that's an interesting statistics. That's telling you something about what their interest area is and who your audience is. So you've got me thinking now. I'm going to go in and dig deep in these analytics and see what pins the boys are looking at. Yeah. And perhaps do a little bit more of those pins. That's right. So I can bring in a more male audience onto my Pinterest board. That's right. Because you actually, are you discussing on your business, are you discussing mostly social media topics? Yes. Okay. Yes. But some men are finding that interesting. So yeah, that would be. Well, I'm wondering what topics. So now, you know what this is all afternoon, I'm going to be pouring into my analytics and figuring out what pins the boys like. And then you have to report back to me, even though we're not recorded. I actually do want to know what they're looking at. Like, what is the most looking at? My guess. Yeah. What's your guess? It's specific to LinkedIn, probably. That makes sense because that's more males over there. Yeah. My guess is it's LinkedIn and lists, top 10 lists, 5 things to do X. That's my guess, but I will report back and let you know. I would love to hear it. That'll be fascinating. I digress. We were talking about advertising on Pinterest. Yes, I guess we were. Dang it. Okay, go on. Okay, carry on. Promoted pins is one way to do it. Rich pins is the other way that I'm going to talk about. Like I said, there's a couple other ways which I won't get into because they're a little technical and I don't understand them quite. Right. Honestly. Okay. So rich pins require a little bit of coding on the back end because it needs to connect your Pinterest board with your website, and specifically it needs to connect the graphic that's on your website to your Pinterest board. Okay. And there's a little bit of behind the scenes coding that it's pretty easy, but if you don't code or don't want to, just give it to your website guy and say, I'm going to make a rich pin. And he'll be like, okay, so let me figure out how to do that. Do you start on the Pinterest side to make it rich? No, you start on your website where your graphic is and you make it rich from that side.
This is seltzer. Don't get your panties all in a ruffle. It's not beer.
LaCroix. That's what some people would say.
Yeah, LaCroix. You start on the website side, create the graphic and all the information that goes around the graphic first, and then you can pin it.
And then you just pin it, and you've made it rich because you did it from the website side.
Yeah. And what makes rich pins really amazing is that you can include a bunch of extra information. This is really great for the entertainment industry because they'll do like movie premieres, and they'll do like a picture of the movie, and then they'll say, this is where you can see the premiere. This is what people have said about it. Here's the Rotten Tomatoes. Most pins will only give you the little description and the hashtags. Rich pins, you can put like that much more information in it and make things clickable and really get people going over to your website from there. So there's app pins. So if you've developed an app, app rich pin will allow you to download the app right then and there, which again, mobile only. The movie rich pin, which is for the entertainment industry. The recipe rich pin, which I curate on my personal site.
Yes.
Recipes.
I love the rich pins for those to put for anything recipe related.
You'll notice the rich pin versus the regular pin because you can see the recipe right there, and it's like that big.
Actually,
and
love
that's
that.
what the Food Network does. You know, they promote all of their recipe rich pins.
I think
an article, if you're a writer or a blogger like you, you can promote rich pins that have a longer introduction to your blog, or perhaps a longer little summary of what your blog is about to really get people interested and go over and see your blog. And then there's the place rich pin. So if you're a local store, you've got a physical address and you're close by, just like Facebook does now, it can tell if you're in the area of the pin that the person rich pinned. So as I'm going through my Pinterest feed, place rich pin will come up if I'm in the area of whatever the pin is. So if I'm Schlotsky's Deli and I promote, and I have a rich pin on the corner of Quebec and Lincoln, and I'm driving by Quebec and Lincoln, and I'm stopped at the stoplight, and I'm going through my newsfeed, that pin will show up in my newsfeed.
Wow.
Cool, right?
That is really powerful. That is
very powerful.
Everybody
kind of sick.
Anybody who has a brick and mortar, you got to listen up.
Yeah. Place rich pin. Sick. They know everything about us. The internets.
Well, then there's that. There's Big Brother. We're not. Are we here to discuss Big Brother? No, but there is that element, I will say.
Yeah.
Wow. But it pays to do the rich pins. It sounds like at least get a few of them in there. Even if you don't do a lot, get a few of them in there.
Right, exactly. And just let me reiterate that in order to do rich pins or any kind of advertising, you need to verify your website with Pinterest. Okay. So go through the process of getting your
worth it.
It's worth it. It really is. I actually, like I said, I haven't done any advertising for my own, but I have done advertising for clients, and they have gotten a great response on Pinterest because Pinterest people are Pinterest whores. They love Pinterest, and they love everything Pinterest is about. Right. And promoted pins seem to get a great response, more so than any other advertising.
Excellent. And if, on the rich pins, can I ask, does Pinterest provide the coding that's going to go behind the scenes on the website? Or you just have to know how to do it?
You got to know how to do it. It's something to do with metadata.
Oh, yes. Okay.
On the graphic.
Okay.
And the metadata that is surrounding the graphic on the post.
Okay, so that's good. No, I understand metadata to a degree.
I've honestly just given it to somebody and said, "Here, figure out the meta, whatever.
Here's the graphic. Go do something with that. Make it rich.
Make it rich and make it meta-y."
Yes. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for joining. We're talking Pinterest for Business today. And we're up to what point? Where are we in our discussion?
We talked about. We went into Pinterest analytics a little bit because I kind of got sidetracked with this shiny object. But there's three things that you can really see inside the analytics section, which is really critical, I think, to business. You can see things about your profile in general, what pins people tend to like the most and share the most. So you're going to go into the analytics. You're going to see that this pin, seems to be being viewed more from an iPhone. So that's when you're going to say, okay, you know what? When I'm posting pins about this particular subject, I need to make sure that my images are optimized for an iPhone.
Yes.
Okay. So you can also see the number of impressions that you've got. So how many times your junk actually shows up in somebody's news feed.
Right.
You're going to see the number of repins, how many people think your information or your pin is good enough to actually put onto their Pinterest board. You're going to see how many people actually click through on the pin. And overall, you're going to see things like it's going to show which pins have been shared the most. And Pinterest has this thing called power pins, and it's not random, but it's some sort of algorithm that they use in the background. They're gonna identify what they think are your power pins, and that's something to pay attention to and analyze a little bit. Why is this a power pin?
Okay.
Because I don't know. It's got a high mix of repins and engagement, and Pinterest just identified it as a power pin. So I'm going to dive into that pin a little bit and figure out, why is this a power pin? What makes it a power pin? So that's pretty cool. Analytics will give you all that.
Yeah, excellent. There's a lot going on there. There's more going on there than I realized.
There is. It's not as you can, I'm comparing to Facebook Insights. You can dive really deep into Facebook Insights down to, was the person picking their nose at the same time they were, looking at your Facebook ad?
I must know that at all costs.
I know, right? Yeah. It doesn't go that deep, thank goodness. But it gets pretty, the analytics are pretty good on Pinterest, I will say.
They've done a good job. They've done a great job. This is all excellent. And so how many, can we talk about how many pins per day or some time frame is a good place to start?
Right.
And what do you want to work up to? What's an optimal level? And or maybe it just depends on industry. I don't know.
It does depend on industry.
Okay.
I think you want to spy on both your collaborators and your competitors.
Uh-huh.
Kind of see what they're doing.
Always.
To see what the audience can bear. What can your audience bear as far as what I suggest is that you don't get on once a week and spend 3 hours on Pinterest pinning and repinning, because the people that follow you are going to get inundated with messages that you just pinned and repinned 5,000 things. Don't do that. I would say if you're going to devote an hour to Pinterest, say a week, split it up into 15-minute increments, for 5 days or whatever. How does that work out? 4 days.
Ish. Listen,
or 10 minutes.
Do your own math.
For 6 days.
Okay, do your own math on that. But every day, daily work is important on that, and because otherwise you are inundating. And I have noticed that with some people, they do inundate more than I care to see.
Right.
Do you want it mixed up with everybody else that I'm following? I want to see everybody. Not just one person.
What'll happen when you start inundating people is they unfollow and then bye-bye.
That's it.
When you don't want to piss off your followers, that's for sure.
No, goal number one, don't piss off your followers on every one of these. So don't overdo it. And I was going to ask, is there such a thing? Because, for example, on Twitter, we can tweet till the cows come home. You can tweet 25 times a day, as long as they're spread out, and people really are okay with it.
Yeah.
Facebook, you better not do it that often.
No.
It's 1 to 2 times a day tops is what I've noticed.
Yeah, because we're not talking about Facebook, but yes, absolutely. Twitter is one of those, multiple times a day type situations. Facebook 1 or 2 max times a day,
right? So
that you don't irritate your folks.
That's right.
Pinterest is a little bit more like Facebook in that, however, you want to set aside some time and curate. Be sure that you're not only posting your evergreen stuff, but you're also curating from other sites and showing the love to other people, because then they're going to show you the love back if you start doing that. What I suggest, and this is kind of what I've adopted as my own schedule, twice a week for 15 minutes.
Okay.
That's not overwhelming to me.
Right.
Because before I would get on and 2 hours later, I'm going, oh my God, did I really just spend 2 hours on freaking Pinterest?
Who's cooking dinner while I'm busy?
Yeah, the kids are going, Mom, what are you doing?
It's bedtime.
I'm on Pinterest, leave me alone.
I have my Pinterest for. Oops, I didn't say that in front of my chillins.
Set the timer, 15 minutes,
like that.
2 times a week, and put it in your calendar.
That's
And then if you do it on a regular basis, just like every other social platform,
That's right.
people will learn that, they're going to be posting their new content on Monday mornings at 11.
That's right.
That's, so followers will get to know your schedule if you've built a good following.
And consistency and persistence is the same on any platform. I had to be off BLAB. I'm noticing I had to be off BLAB for most of March, and I'm seeing I'm having fewer viewers than I normally do. And that just goes to show you because I just had a set of circumstances where that's just had a cancellation and some other things happen. And like, okay, well, I'll just give into that and we'll start back up in April. And I can tell you that I don't have as many viewers as I used to.
Yeah, exactly. Followers they'll not know when to look for you anymore if you're not consistent.
That's right. That's exactly right. So I've seen it happen on more than BLAB on other platforms. And so that's absolutely true. If you take a break, for some reason, the energy of it is lost.
Yeah. And so be consistent, just like everything else.
Yes, it is. That's.
I would also suggest, as well as all the other platforms, to follow an 80-20 rule.
Okay.
80% of your stuff needs to be relevant, interesting, timely, and what's E?
Relevant. Entertaining.
Is it entertaining?
Yes, because you want to entertain too. You can't just be all dry all the time, right?
Right. And I think you're right. And that's where you're curating from other Pinterest boards and things like that. That's the 80% of the time. The 20% of the time you can post your own content, post your own products, blogs, just images that you've taken and you want to talk about,
Right.
So use the 80-20 rule just the same as you would on any other social platform.
I like that. And do pin your own stuff because 80% of pinners, of just average people, come in and repin, and that's all they do.
Yep.
Well, then you're ahead of the curve if you put your own stuff out there.
Right.
Okay. Because they're repinning. So in other words, I've seen some people make the mistake of only repinning and only doing a few here and there of their own, but that's really not going to get you what you're looking for, which is a little bit of exposure for your business or your endeavor, whatever that is on there. So you've got to put your own stuff on there, and you can upload. I've noticed you can upload a pin directly. And then edit your website into the pin in the background, which I've done on many an occasion if it's not somewhere on the website already.
Yeah.
Still works that way. You can still connect it to your website.
You can still connect to your website even if you upload it directly to Pinterest.
Yeah, that's right.
Or you can go to your website if it's already there and just pin it.
Pin it. Yeah. Of course. Well, I don't know which one's faster.
I know.
The actual pinning, if it's already on your website, obviously that's faster, but somebody
it's easier,
upload it to
your
your
website.
But if
it's just a photo and it doesn't necessarily go anywhere,
right?
And you just want to get it out on Pinterest, then that's what you're talking about. You upload it to Pinterest and then go back in and get your website information in there.
Just get it in there.
Comments or in the description.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe you just want to put a quote up real fast and it's branded down at the bottom or whatever with your website or your logo or something, and you just need to get something out there. That'll work. Yeah. I've done that. So perfect.
Speaking of graphics,
yes.
If you want to take your own pictures and get them out there, Pinterest is weird in that their image sizes are a little different than they are on the other social platforms.
Yeah.
They tend to be oblong, and that's the ideal size of a graphic that you or shape of a graphic is you want it definitely to be oblong. Let me look here at the.
I just go by what Canva.com has on theirs.
What do they have? I know.
I'll look it up while we're talking. Canva,
I've got pixels. It's like a width of like 600 pixels is the minimum width, and you can be anywhere from like 900 to 2100 pixels.
Okay.
So 600 by like 900 to 2100. They like the oblong shaped because it helps align them up on the boards a little bit better,
That's
right?
What it's about.
And it doesn't make it so square-y. It makes things kind of go like that in somebody's newsfeed. So it makes it more interesting, I think. I don't know why they do that, but I think it just makes the feeds more interesting.
It just must. And it gives you more real estate. Think about it. So people have to scroll and they're still seeing your pin.
Yeah, that's true.
On Canva, their pixels are 735 by 1102.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what the O2 is, but it's 735 by 1102. So that's
The O2 gives you that extra digit.
I guess it does. And what do you recommend if you're a person who's not much of a, let's just say you didn't go into graphic design as any kind of a profession, but you want to create your own graphics, what do you recommend?
Well, you and I are both Canva whores.
Yes, I love it.
I love Canva because I am not a graphic designer, and for the life of me, I couldn't create something from scratch if you paid me. No. I couldn't.
Right.
So I steal things, I borrow ideas, I merge ideas together and make cool graphics that way.
Yes.
But man, if you are a photographer and you have an eye for, mixing different mediums of graphics, design and stuff, you've got it made on Pinterest, because people just love the cool visual aspects.
You'll stand out. Do. And you can use that over on Instagram, because Instagram appreciates photography skill.
They do.
Graphic design skill in a very big way. So, I mean, by doing that, you can, and actually it can go across all platforms if you're really good with that.
Yeah.
And just the thing you have to pay attention to, of course, is dimensions that work best for each platform. You can upload a square one everywhere you want. You can. But it's not optimized to that platform if you do it that way.
That's right.
So, but yeah, if you're a good photographer, and are you ever concerned about watermarking or anything like that with the photography? And I don't mean to throw you under the bus on that. You might not know, but some people are kind of concerned about that.
It's funny that I've got asked that a lot in my classes. It's like, well, this is my picture.
Yeah, I own it.
And somebody's like, people are taking it and putting it on their board. And it's like, yeah, because it's associated with your name and your website. If you want it on your site,
right,
anywhere it goes, it's going to have your website attached to it. So
it is.
Of course you want to.
No, that's the goal on that.
That is the goal.
And people they can steal photos in other ways. Unfortunately, it just does happen.
The interwebs is, if it's out there, it's out there, and people are going to steal it regardless. Pinterest is probably the best place if somebody is going to steal it from.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to take it.
At least it has your name and your website attached to it. Yeah.
Well, and so I love Canva.com as well. We recommend everybody get in there and use it. And I'm self-taught on there, and Beth might be. Are you self-taught on there? And I just looked up a couple tips and tricks to do it, and I figured it out. If we can do it, you can do it. We're not graphics people, generally speaking, and it was really intuitive on learning how to use it and just on learning how to add elements. And you can upload your own. You can upload your own photos. You can upload anything you want to on there, and they've got a way that you can use that, or you can pay them, or they have some free graphics. So I'm just throwing that out there. So excellent.
What else? Is one of those tools that, thank God it came along, because I probably wouldn't be in the business that I'm in if I didn't have something like that. Because like I said, graphics and I just don't get along. I don't know how many Photoshop classes I've taken, and I still don't get the whole layer thing.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
and photographers are like, what do you mean you don't get the layer thing?
Yeah, get the layers. If it's not in a cake, I don't get it. Layers. Well, I can tell you that I could see that the visual medium was really growing. Back in the early days, I could see that was coming, that graphics were very important. And I didn't know what to do about it because I wasn't a graphic designer. And I couldn't easily be in on the front end of that on the very, very beginning when I saw this happening. And I kind of just didn't know what to do. And I knew other people that hired people to create graphics for them. Well, that ended up not being very cheap. I mean, it was kind of expensive to hire, a professional to do that for you.
Right.
And finally, Canva came on the scene and saved me and you and everybody else like us who knew that they needed to be in there but didn't know how to do it. Who
told us about Canva? Was it Aaron?
Maybe.
Because I've been using it for a few years now.
Me too, and I don't know how I know.
Aaron said, have you guys heard about this thing called Canva? It's brand new. It was in beta. Remember, because Guy Kawasaki had launched it. It's his product.
Yeah.
And I think Aaron says, this product's in beta. You guys might want to check it out. And now it's like, I can't live without it.
It's been a long time. I've been in it as long, pretty early on. And that could be, and who we're talking about is a social sister of ours here in Colorado that we are connected with and collaborate with, who she specifically, out of all of us, knows the latest and greatest. She just is one of those people that loves the shiny new object. And and she gets in there and she figures it out. And so then we just let her do that. And then we ask her.
Yeah. That's right.
Do all that
Can
work?
you show me how?
Figuring it out. Now here we are.
Thank you, Erin. So, we'll just plug her. Erin was socially powered.
Yeah, we'll plug her.
She's our shiny object queen.
Squirrel. No, but she really learns it. And that's it's not just a squirrel to be done with. So that's what's good with her. And
so I got a few tips that I just want to close with. They're quick and they're painless.
I love painless.
We talked about making sure that not only are you pinning your evergreen content, but you're repinning other people's stuff to show the love.
Yep.
We talked about the size to optimize your graphics for pinning. I want to talk a bit about your profile page. If you are going to be a business on Pinterest, make sure your profile page is reflective of that you've got your logo, that you've branded properly with your colors and all that stuff. Make your profile page indicative of your brand. Yeah. That's pretty important. If not, just use your personal page, right? If you're not going to present yourself as a business, don't
go halfway.
Don't even go there, right? Okay. Don't go half-assed.
Yeah, I wanted to say half-assed.
Yeah.
Say that. Don't be half-assed.
I have to tell you,
endeavor. Yeah.
This is total off the subject. I know we only got 7 minutes left, but
really?
One of my clients, this is so funny. She joined a group, and they're a group of professional dog trainers. But the only way that you are allowed to post in the group is if you use profanity in your post. So she has to say, hey, bleep, 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 bleepers. I'm hosting a class on, dog training today. So that's the only way. Otherwise the posts get deleted and they get scorned. Isn't that funny?
I love it. Oh my.
I'm like, can I post that?
Watch my damn video.
Yeah. Damn it, you dammers. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Back on topic.
Less colorful language here. We'll use damn. And we did use
yes. So when you're creating a board on your Pinterest account, and you're titling it, you want to make sure that it's interesting and it's creative and it's fun. You don't want it. A lot of my clients are realtors and they say, interesting homes or kitchens. And I'm like, really? Can you say cool flippin' kitchens or, landscaping that rocks, things like that. You want to make sure your boards are interesting, that people, when they're going through their news feed, that's something that, I want to landscape that rocks, so they're going to come to your board.
Sure.
In addition, the topic should tie into the title, so that when they're going through looking at the primary photo that's on your board, make sure that it's indicative of the topic that's on the board title.
And here's what I run into, and this is something that we get to deal with every single day in the business of social media, and that is you need to have a keyword in there. You have to have the word kitchen.
You have to have the word kitchen.
So
yeah.
You have to have the word kitchen, and so you need to be clever, but don't out-clever yourself with such, because here's what I see people doing sometimes is the opposite. They don't just say kitchens, they say funky places, funky cooking places. Well... That's not what you do
for a kitchen. They're not going to find your board.
They're not. So the trick is to be clever with your keyword, and that can be kind of hard to do. So you just need to practice, how to be clever with your keywords.
Right.
That's I've noticed. You only have so much space. Do you know the character count? I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's not as many as I wish there were. That's why I ask.
It's small.
It's not much. Yeah.
It's not. I'm thinking 50 to 80 is what I'm thinking, but I don't have that off the top of my head.
Yeah, sorry to throw that out at you. Well, I just noticed that sometimes I would like to put a clever title with my keyword, and the whole thing won't show as you're scrolling through if it's too long.
But you're allowed to enter the whole thing?
No, not
you're allowed to enter it.
I don't even think. I don't know now. It's been a while since because I've learned to be short, so now I'm not sure. I've either seen some that, so when they scroll into the Pinterest feed, they're cut off because they're too long. And I can't remember if it'll stop you, but I think it does at a certain point, and I don't know what. So sorry to throw that question. We don't know that. I just know that you do need to keep your title short, and that's a skill. It's basically a skill, how to be clever, get your keyword in there, and keep it short. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Looks like it's about, it's cute. It's still going. It looks like it's about 80.
Maybe it's changed since last. I just learned to keep it short and I haven't tried to do a longer one in a long time.
Because it'll have the ... after it if it's too long, right? And then no one can see the whole the whole title.
You
You're
can't see your whole title. And if your keyword's at the end, rather than to be, you're not going to know what you're. So you got to be careful with that.
Exactly.
Okay. What other tips?
We talked about using hashtags on, just be careful with your hashtags. Don't use too many. Don't spam with your hashtags, but use them. And also always, always, always put a link to your website in there at some point. It might not be in the description. It might be in the comments if it doesn't apply to what's the image is about. But absolutely, you are, especially with your evergreen content, you need to provide a link back so that they can find you. They can learn about you more.
So if you click on the pin, it should automatically link back to your site. But are you saying to also include it in the description?
Well, if you've uploaded an image that isn't associated with your website, you got to go back in and add your website in.
That's right. That's what you mean. If you get it from your website, then that'll be included already, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Add a pin it button to your website. So if people are on your website tootling around, make sure when they hover over your images that the pin it button comes on so they can easily pin to their Pinterest account. Add your pin it button to your website. It's super easy. If you've got WordPress, it's an easy plugin.
It is. It is. And make it as easy on your fans and followers to help you as you can.
Help you, help them.
Help you, help them. Help you, help them, help you. Did I say that right?
Help you, help them, help you, help them.
There we go. See? We're very, that's us. That's what we know. We're smart over here.
We really covered everything else. I mean,
excellent.
People, I've seen one little tip that I've seen that I will just throw out there. I've seen Pinterest poo-poo stock photos.
No, and what does that mean? They'll actually delete it?
They won't delete it. They will poo-poo it. So it will go a little further down in the analytic
that's what you mean.
Equation. Yes. So Pinterest wants stuff that you've created yourself. Okay. They don't want the graphic that you stole from iStock Photo. Unless you take that graphic from iStock Photo, you put it on Canva, you put some words around it, and you put your logo on it. That's different.
That is different. And don't steal it. And don't steal.
Then don't steal.
Pay.
Borrow. So that's my tips.
I love that. And tell me, so I know you're teaching this class with even more detail. So anybody who is viewing this later, after we get out there and share it more, I'll put it on my blog. And also Beth will share it out on all of her mediums as well. For those that are in Denver, do you have a class coming up, or where can they find information on where you're teaching this class?
I do. I'm going to tell you because I don't know. I teach several classes at Colorado Free University. Mm-hmm. One of them, of course, is Pinterest for Business, which is basically I go in a little bit deeper to all of the topics that we went over today. I'm just pulling up my course schedule.
I know. That's okay. I should have said so.
Because I have a few more. So the next Pinterest for Business class is, oh my gosh, it's coming up next week. Next Thursday night at 6:30, the 14th of April.
Okay.
At 6:30 at night. And then I have another one at the end of April on a Wednesday afternoon, the 27th of April.
Perfect. And for the sake of not tying to making this video that we're creating right now evergreen, that's in 2016 that she's talking about those dates in April.
So someone pulled this up in 2018, and I'm going to try to sign up for that class. Oh, she lied.
No, that's right. So it's 2016, and in order to also keep it even more evergreen, anytime you want to look up classes that Beth is teaching, just simply go to the Colorado Free University website. You will see her listed there. So if you're catching this after April 2016, and you can still go find her there. She's going to be there for a while.
I'm going to be there for a while. A few more classes coming out in the summer. So
she teaches more than Pinterest, correct? Do you have a few more subjects besides that?
A blogging your way to success class, monetizing your blog. And then also, if you ever thought about becoming a social media manager, I teach a class on setting up a social media manager business.
That's amazing. A lot of interest in that. And I have included here on the screen a link to your website. But why don't you also go ahead and verbally tell us what your website is in case people can't see that when we go to video.
Yep, www.socialbridges.biz, biz.com was taken by some nonprofit group in the Northeast.
I saw that. I went to .com and went, wait, where's my Beth? I don't have
Yes, they stole it from me.
Yes.
They want $10,000 for me to buy it from them. So
of course they do.
I'll take a .biz.
Biz works. Other things that Beth does is she provides management services for different businesses behind the scenes. What are some of your specialty areas?
So, I've got a variety of clients at this time, but yes. I focus a lot on the real estate industry and most currently the cannabis industry.
Yes. And here in Colorado, of course, cannabis is a big deal. Big deal. Legal deal.
Yes, and a lot of fledgling businesses are struggling with what they can and cannot do in this industry because it is so new.
It's a new industry, and Beth here has learned the ins and outs of the laws behind the cannabis industry here in Colorado, and the can do's and the cannot do's and the don't ever do's. And I'm sure you have
get your Facebook page pulled down.
You will. So you have to be careful how you speak on there. So if you want somebody that's an expert on that, if you're getting into that business, there's some things you've got to pay attention to. So you would hire Beth over here to help you navigate the quagmire that is cannabis right now. Exactly. I expect over time we're going to see some changes in the industry as a whole. I see other states seeking to do the same thing Colorado has done. And eventually the feds probably going to have to catch up with some changes at the state level. I expect that to be happening, but probably not tomorrow.
Well, I got to tell you, I just saw an article come through my newsfeed this morning that we're getting there quicker than not.
No kidding. Who knew? Yeah. So people who are in that industry, now's the time, and you need to hire somebody that knows what they're doing in that industry. Don't hire any old person because they will get you in trouble.
They will.
If they don't know the really pertinent, very specific ins and outs of that business. So that's great that you're getting in on the front end of that business. Right, and yes. I know real estate is one of those. So real estate agents really need social media help from what I see, because they bless them, put stuff out there about their listings, but they're not interesting about it. So if you get an expert, because I think Beth used to work in real estate and has an inside view of how real estate works.
Yes.
In that business.
In my past life, I was a realtor, and I know how difficult it is to market yourself and maintain a business at the same time, being a realtor. And the realtors are great in person and marketing themselves one-to-one, but when it comes to having an online presence, not so much. So I help them with that.
And as we both know, who has time? That's why we are in business, is to help people go do what they love, and we'll take care of the social media behind the scenes. That's what we do, to help you get out there and do what you love. Great. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you for having me. I hope we learned a little bit about Pinterest for business today.
I totally did. And everybody viewing this is going to totally learn stuff. And this is fantastic. I always love having Beth on here.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I'm going to do another little plug that'll make us less evergreen in the future, but we still have to talk about it. And that is that we're doing Social Media Day Denver.
Yes.
As a member of a group called Colorado Women in Social Media, we are hosting a fantastic event on June 30th, 2016, depending on when you're watching this, in Denver. If you go to coloradowomenInSocialMedia.com, we'll be putting up a webpage shortly that's going to tell you all about Social Media Day Denver. Beth and I are a big part of that group, and we'll be presenting some useful information there. And so just watch for that.
It's going to be fun, too. It's going to be educational. It's going to be fun. We're going to throw some zingers at you.
We are.
It's going to be a great day here in Denver. And hopefully the sun's shining that day.
We want sunshine on a cloudy day. We do. So we're going to present useful stuff. Then we're going to do fun stuff like a scavenger hunt. And then, baby, we're going off to happy hour.
Darn. I know. Who doesn't love happy hour?
Happy after that. Yeah. So, thanks, everybody. I'm going to stop recording now. And we really appreciate you coming on board. And thanks to Beth. And I'll be here on Thursdays at 10 a.m. on Blabbing Social with Melody. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.